Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And I've gotten a number of questions over the past few months. People have been asking me, I'm getting into Axis and Allies Global, or I'm getting into Historical Board Gaming 39 or 36. What's the best way to get in? Sometimes what's the cheapest way to get in? And since I've got a lot of Scottish blood in me, cheapest is always the best. But I thought I'd do a video here and maybe answer that question in a audio-visual format, and hopefully help some people out who are wanting to get into this. And the first thing I need to say, folks, is be patient. Unless you're independently wealthy and can throw down a couple $1,000 and not even worry about it, then be patient. All right, Rome wasn't built in a day. Is a great chestnut to quote. But I think it's important for you to realize that for myself and for Cliffside Bunker and for General Hand Grenade and Der Kunstler, who is now bid adieu, but and Sired Blood, and I know I'm forgetting other people here, but for a lot of people who do these collections and then put the information out there, we worked for a long time and put a lot of time and energy into these collections and money eventually. And then sometimes some good things happen. And I will certainly give props along those lines when we get going. But I'm just going to show you the effort that has, been put in here, or the outcome of the effort, I should say. You can't see the effort. But here we have binder upon binder of information. This is for 36, so this is the binder. And if you've watched the videos, you've seen them. All right, so that's the binder of the rules. And then I've put the Axis and the strict neutrals in here. So here's all their sheets and all their information. And then, of course, we've got the Allies and the Comintern in there. Then I've got all the expansions, and that's not even all the expansions. All right, it's a good number of them, but they wouldn't all fit. So I've put in other binders to take up the slack. So here's some more. Okay, and it took a lot of time, money, and energy to put those together, because each page costs, now I don't know what it costs in different parts of the world, but in BC here, when you go to Staples to do these photocopies, each side of each page, if you're getting a double-sided, which you should, or they'll never fit in the book, is about each side is about 45 cents, 40 to 50 cents, depending on if there's a special on or something. All right, so if you plan on, a buck for every 2 sheets, and there are literally hundreds of sheets here, that's the couple $100 and more that I've spent just in photocopying. All right, and then you buy the sleeves to protect them, and then you buy the binders to store them. Okay, so it took a long time. So I didn't do all that in the same day. Okay, I am not independently wealthy because, as you know, I'm a public school teacher, and so I don't have the resources to do that. So I do what I can when I can. And every now and again you come across a little bit of money, or you get a bonus at work, or grandma sends you $50 for your birthday or whatever. And if this is a hobby, if you're treating it like a hobby, then you take that money and inject it into the game, and you can buy some pretty good stuff for $50. Some of these good sets, good pieces, and whatnot. All right, so that's part of it right there. But a good chunk, I don't know what the percentage would be, probably at least 15 to 20% of my stuff I've been able to have gifted to me. Where people say, hey, I'm not using this anymore, I can't find anybody to play. I've had some really generous support from Doug down at Historical Board Gaming, who has sent me stuff to show you on the channel. And so I haven't had to pay for everything that you see here, because I'll tell you right now, that would have been a little prohibitive. It'd be difficult to do. And so, although I might buy bits and pieces here and there, I wouldn't be able to throw down all the money to pay for everything that you see here. Okay. For instance, this case here holds a bunch of the expansions for 1936. For Historical Board Gaming's 1936. All right, so here's the Atlantis expansion. Right, so you get the Atlantis little island that you throw out there. Okay, so all this stuff here, Spanish Civil War. Some of them cost $30, $40. Some of them cost $10, depending on what you buy and what you're getting with it. There's a lot of money just in that case right there. And a good chunk of that was gifted to me in order to get it out on HBG. And so that'll happen where some people will say, hey, I don't need this anymore. Here you go. I'm going to help you out. And that's great. That's great support. And it grows the community, right? The other thing that I have going for me is I can sniff out some deals every now and again. I'm just going to go up the wall here. These are all my other games, and not even all of them, I'm afraid, to my wife's lament. I've got more in the house. But as you can see, I've got some of the Axis and Allies. There's 1914 there. Okay. And as you can see here, I have 3 copies of Axis and Allies, the original. There's a lot of pieces in there, right? A few hundred pieces in each. I actually had a 4th copy that I gave away at Christmas to someone who's trying to get into the game, and thought, hey, well, there you go, Merry Christmas, right? So, I've been blessed with so many generous people in my life. Why not? What am I going to do with a 4th copy, right? But I cannibalized these in order to make some early armies to flesh out the game. So, you take 1939. It's the game that was on my last video, and we're going to be finishing up that game in a little bit. But you look at some of these different armies, okay? So here we have, obviously, right, it's Japanese troop, but it's been painted bright orange instead of the pumpkin orange. So you can see the difference there, right? Okay. You get some of these other troops. You throw some paint on them, and all of a sudden you got a different country, right? And so you do that. You just go find some hobby paint, grab some old Axis and Allies units, and paint them up. And you say, well, Kurt, where do you find the Axis and Allies games? Well, Craigslist, not to put too fine a point on it. But that's where I found those 3 extra Axis and Allies, and I got them for, the cheapest was $10, and then it was 10 and 2 at 20. And I was happy to pay it because it allowed me to flesh out my game before I was able to sock away enough money to make some big orders from HBG and order a good number of units to flesh out the game where I don't have to paint them. All right, but these ones here, then, they might not get the love they used to, but they got me to where I needed to be, right? And so it was baby steps. So bought some cheap Axis and Allies games, throw a little dab of paint on them, and I'm ready to go. So I highly recommend that to you. If you're looking to get into these big games and how do you do it, hey, the old Axis and Allies games, it's a great way to start in. At least you're pushing plastic around the board, and you're not worried about, oh, is this really the color and all that kind of. You can decide whatever color you want. Okay. At the top of the stack here is a very hard to find game now. It's the Xeno Games World at War. A great game, all right, all by itself, and highly recommend it if you can find it. But that set me back about $100 when I bought it about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's hard to say now. And couldn't find a lot of people to play it, despite how good a game it is. So I took a lot of the armies and a lot of the things from that game, and I put them into the storage, and I use them as I need them, right? Don't need them as much anymore because now I've been able to flesh out my game with real HBG pieces, but for a time they served a great purpose for me. All right, and then as you can afford things, you put away the old and bring in the new, and away you go. Looking at the German box here, this is my German box for 36 and 39, everything else actually, but you can see I've got Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria, and Finland. Okay, Finland, the artillery and whatnot just have paint on them. Not a good camera angle. But the other stuff that's in there the infantry is actually from HBG. I bought those a while ago, kind of a off creamy color, ivory bone. I'm not sure. But for the longest time, I was just playing with painted material or painted pieces that I have there, and I'm still playing with them. I haven't chosen to go and buy the new artillery and stuff yet, because I'd be nickel and diming myself and paying killer prices in shipping, being in Canada. And so I'm waiting until I can find out exactly what I need for all this stuff, order it all at once, and then it's done. Same with the Japanese stuff, right? So we got our Special Naval Landing Force. I just use old ANA guys, but then I use the Special Naval Landing Force tokens. Okay, Siam's just guys with some paint on them, and then I really cheaped out. I went and got some old fighters from old versions and threw some paint on them to be my torpedo dive bombers and naval fighters. So I haven't gotten every piece the way I want it, but I have enough that we can play. And everybody knows what they're looking at when they see it. Also, a lot of people ask about dice. So I have these dice here that I use in any 6 dice or like D6 games, like Axis and Allies games. They weren't cheap. Sent me back about $100 for these 48 dice. But it was one of those things that I said, hey, you know what? I got a little extra money to put towards my hobby. What would be something neat that I would like to have? And I've always wanted to have hit dice. And so I went and had Matt up at Warcraft Games and Mission just show me a design for them. I said, looks great. And we cranked them out. And I had them a few days later. And if you're wanting to play and you just don't have the coin, don't have the scratch to buy stuff that you think you're going to need to play, but you want to really play the rules, cheat. Okay? Now, this is not a putsch against anybody who sells stuff like Historical Board Gaming, because I love what they've got. I mean, you can see I've spent quite a bit of money getting these little tokens, and some were sent up because they say, oh, we want you to show these new things or what have you, like the construction sites I hadn't bought and they wanted to show them. So there you go. Alright, but see these little bad boys? These little poker chips? Okay, so if you want to put on there Airborne, okay, or you want to put something else in there, you can. Now they take up more room and they don't stand out as much, and writing Airborne on the crinkly parts of these poker chips is nothing short of weird science. But it's an option. Again, an option while you're getting into the game. Alright? Because a lot of people, you know what guys, I know a lot of you out there are saying, hey, you know what, Kurt, I've looked at the prices of these things, and I've put together my dream list and shipping and all that, and I can't afford it, so you don't do anything. And you know what, that's sad, because you can always do a little bit. Always do a little bit here and there, just do a little bit. And you know, baby step it. Just buy what you can, buy what you can afford. If you can't afford anything, don't buy anything for now, but someday you'll be able to buy something. I mean, if you're going through you know, I don't know what you do in the States, Starbucks or whatever, or up here it's Timmy's, Tim Hortons, you know, people go through that and they'll throw down, I know some people who throw down 30 to 40 bucks a week at Tim Hortons just on the way to work. You know, got to get coffee for the boss, or, you know, you're going to pick up a couple of bagels because you didn't stop for breakfast that morning or what have you. Hey, you set aside 20, 30 bucks a week for these things. In a few months, you're going to be caught right up. You're going to have exactly what you need. So, as you guys know, the money's there. And if it's a hobby you really want to get into, there's a couple of really good things. One, you build your friends' community. You build your friend community. You build up the people that you know. Have a great time. But also, folks, these things are made out of plastic, right? These things are going to be around long after you and I are gonzo. All right? This is not like buying, and this is not a putsch against anybody who does stuff like this, but it's not like buying those you know, solid fuel rocket boosters for shooting the rockets 1,000 feet in the air, which is a blast. A lot of fun. But you light it, it goes off, and that's it. It's done. You've got to go lay out more money to do it again. With these things, hey, you buy it, you keep care of it in good containers, it'll be there for you all the time. Every time you go back, those infantry will be waiting for you. And You know, maybe it's like Toy Story where they're all sitting in there and planning their next invasion, and then when you put them back on the shelf after losing, they're shaking their heads and going, "We got to fire that general." I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I do know that this game is amazing, and I'm speaking of all these war games. The historical board gaming games are amazing. The A&A games are amazing. They're so much fun. We still tell stories. I bet out there you guys have some wild stories. Maybe we should do a little video on that. Everybody post a video of the wildest Axis and Allies roll you've ever seen. And you know, it's just something that we love to do. It's something that we all can take part in. We can learn from. We can just enjoy each other's company, and you know, just make our corner of the world a better place. When so many people find a lot of time these days to sit around and gripe about everything, you know, hey, let's gripe about dice rolls, you know, because you'll always have one that brings you back. Right? It's like golf. You know, you always get that one shot that makes you come back the next weekend, right? So that's just what I wanted to do with this video. It's just to show you that, hey, if you don't want to jump in whole hog, you do not have to. Okay, get those old Axis and Allies games. And another thing too, on historical board gaming, up on the top left, not at the very top, but about 3/4 of the way up the screen, they got sale, sale, sale. Click on that. There are dozens of units there that are going for El Cheapo, okay, like 5 cents. So you could buy, I'm going to try to do the math here, 200 infantry for $10. Yeah, that should flesh out your game pretty good. Go buy a paintbrush and some acrylic paint, sit down for an hour while you're watching a football game or something. I guess you got to wait a few months for that. But while you're just listening to tunes or whatever, or maybe sit with your kids and have them paint too, and you can make yourself some great armies and navies, right? You can do that. It takes time, it takes effort. But if money's the big thing for you, all right. If you don't have money, then you probably got some time maybe that you can use. So do it that way, and paint yourself up some nasty armies. I've seen some wonderful paint jobs by let's see here. Sard Blood did. I know General Hand Grenade has some great stuff going there. I think Detroit did as well. I'm probably leaving somebody out here. I'm sorry if you've been somebody who's put some great paint jobs on the internet here, and I'm forgetting you, but you know, it's just amazing what people can do. And if you have the skill and you have the talent, go ahead and do it, and people will actually buy them from you. All right, so why not? Why not? Go ahead and make them yours. Make them stand out. Go buy the little decals and put them on there. Decals, if you talk like that. I don't know what it is. And just get things moving for you. Don't sit there in a huff thinking I can never afford this game, that my collection will never be as good as everybody else's. Holy smokes, guys. I've got buddies who have collections that dwarf this. All right? But this works for me, and this works for my group where we're at. And sometimes they'll say, like, what is this crazy unit? And I'll say, oh, that's that, because I didn't buy the real one yet, so you just look at the paint on it and it'll let you know. Okay, nobody cares. We know. Throw them out there. But after a while, folks, you'll say, hey, I wanna flesh out the game. I want to make it look a little bit nicer on the eyes, so I'm going to throw down some money and make it work. Then go ahead and do it. And hey, if you ask your special loved ones, you know, if they're asking for birthday or Christmas gift ideas or something like that, you know, that's an easy answer, right? That's an easy one. So, hey everybody, just take care. I really appreciate the support that I'm receiving here at the Hilltop. By no means call myself an expert. I'm just an enthusiast, and I enjoy this game so much. I enjoy the possibilities. I enjoy the historical significance of the things that go on in this game, and I just want to encourage you that if you love this game and you really want to get into it, hey, take the advice that I gave you in this video, little bits at a time, and in a couple of years, because this has taken me about, well, it's taken me a long time to build up everything, a few years, you know, 7, 8 years, then you'll be happy. you'll be happy. It takes time, but you will be happier, and you'll build your community, and you know what? It's a great hobby to have. And I wish you guys all the best. Thanks again for the great support. Don't forget to hug your loved ones, tell them how important they are to you, and just savor the time that you have with your family and friends. And hey, may the dice be with you.